Well, hello everyone. It's Tuesday and it's time for a quick and easy card with Cindy's Cards and More. I'm glad you could join me. And I wanted to show you what my selection was for this week's card. I just love this Christmas season bundle. Look at these great stamps that you get with all the different sized pine cones, the leaves, the holly leaves. You get some berries and some dots, all sorts of different things that you can use for your card. But what impressed me the most was these dies. Look at these dies that you get with this bundle. You get, of course, you're getting your pine cones and your holly dies and all of that to do with that. But what I absolutely love is all of the different label dies that you will get. You get this large one, medium size, there's some couple of small ones. So this would be a great addition to your craft room for all of the different stamps that you have. And definitely a traditional stamp set and dies that you can use year in and year out. And you can always use these labels for different cards that you make throughout the year. So to me, this is a definite must in your craft room. So let me show you what I decided to do. As you know, on the last couple of cards, I've done some non-traditional colors. So this is the one I did yesterday over at Paper Crafts by Elaine. And I just love these colors. Evening Evergreen, Coastal Cabana, Polished Pink, and Cinnamon Cider. So if you want to watch me do this video, go over to Paper Crafts by Elaine and it's on her site. So I decided today I'm going to use these different stamps, but I'm also going to use pretty much the same colors but with a different twist to it. So I'm actually going to add this embossing folder, Merry Melody. I love this, all those pretty notes on there. This is a great embossing folder to have. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be using my blending brush. As you can see, I'm going to use Polished Pink on that. I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to be using Evening Evergreen like I did on the other card, and I'm going to be doing Cinnamon Cider. So give you a peek of what my card's going to look like. Isn't that pretty? And again, using a lot of the same colors that I did yesterday with a different twist of using those label dies that I absolutely love. Look at those two different ones that I did. So I've already got my stamps decided on. This is what I normally do. It's my little tip that I do where when I decide what I'm going to be stamping, I go ahead and put those on the outside of my stamp set so I don't have to go digging in all the time for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put those to the side for right now. And I've already got my cardstock cut. So I did Coastal Cabana for my base, and that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I did Evening Evergreen, and that's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I did my basic white, and I embossed it with that 3D embossing folder. So I already did that, and that's at 4 by 5 1/4. And this is what I'm going to use on my Polished Pink, so I'm going to put that on there. So let's go ahead and get this going. So I'll go ahead and get my Polished Pink going, and we'll go ahead and do that blending on our background for our layer. So on this, and there is no rhyme or reason to this, this is just something that you just go ahead. It doesn't matter if it gets a little dark or a little light, because having that different color and different shades on there, I think makes this card pop. So you can do it very light or you can do it dark, and you can see that I've got some different shades on here, but I think that's what makes these cards unique. They don't have to be perfect or one solid color. I like the different shades of the Polished Pink. All right, so we've already got that going. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces together, and I'm going to do that with my Tombow multi-glue. And hopefully I've got enough in this bottle to get me going. Again, you don't need a lot. That's what I love about our Tombow glue. It does, a little goes a long way in our bottles. So, and I like that the fact that you can move this around to get it just where you want it. You don't have to keep lifting it. You do like when you do your tape runner. So that's a cool thing. I'm going to try to keep this all one dimensional because this is one that's going to go in the mail. So I'm not going to put I'm not going to put any dimensionals on here. I'm going to keep this all kind of flat. So it'll go in the mail pretty easy that way. All right. So there's our base. Now I'm going to go ahead, and this is the label. I chose the larger one for putting my design on there, and I'm going to do the leaves and the pine cones. So I'm going to go ahead and get those started, and I'm going to start with my larger pine cone first, and I'm going to do a two-step inking on this. And what I mean by that is my first one is going to be the darker on here, and I'm going to do this orientation this way for the label. So the way I do this is this, and then like I said, I always do my test, but that's going to be my darker, and I'm just going to kind of do this as my orientation of where I want this. And now my second piece, which is going to be my second layer, is going to be with the same color, but I'm going to stamp off once on that and then put that layer on top of this one. So this way you're getting actually two tones out of this color, so you don't have to worry about. And look how neat that is. That is such a cool thing. I just love that. A great way to get different effects out of your inks. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do our smaller one, and I think I'm going to use my smaller block here, and I'm going to do the same thing. You know, I always do my test on there, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a little bit of room, and I'm going to put my pine cone up here because I am going to stamp some leaves, and then I'm going to put another label over here for the sentiment, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing as I did before. And I'm going to go ahead and get that inked, stamp off, and go ahead and give that color on that. It's hard for me to kind of see everything when I can't get my head in the camera, because I don't think you want to see my gray hair. What can I say? Got to see all those gray hairs that I have, but I don't even feel that old, but you know, gray hair comes when it wants to. What can I say? All right, now we're going to go ahead and on the leaves, I'm going to do Coastal Cabana. So this is the leaf that I chose. Actually, I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to choose a different leaf in here. So I'm going to go and grab that. I'm going to choose this one because my label isn't that big. So I'm going to go ahead and put a sprig at the top and the bottom. And sometimes what you can do too is you can kind of see where it's going to happen. And what I try to do is, because I'm going to be using this label, is that I want to kind of gauge on where I want some of those leaves to show, so I can actually bring it down a little further as I put my sentiment over here. So this is how I kind of gauge where I want things stamped at. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this one at full strength. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I think on this one I'm going to do a stamp off. And again, I'm going to kind of get a gauge. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to kind of get a gauge because I want this to come down this way. And that way it has a lighter look to it. Because you know, leaves, they don't all have the same look to them. All right. And then on this, I'm going to go ahead and stamp, have a Holly Jolly Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my block. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that in polished pink, because I think I love these colors together. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and fill that up a little bit. And I wanted to add a little whimsy to this. So what I decided to do is that I'm using the dots that are in my stamps. And that's how I add a little whimsy to this, is because I'm going to be stamping all throughout my sentiment just to add a little something to it. And the way you can make sure that that doesn't look odd too is that I'm actually going to carry that into my I'm going to go ahead and put that inside of my card. And I think that's what really kind of makes when we do this kind of thing, when you do those stamps, is that it's nice that you can do the same thing and put that on the inside of your card. So I'm going to go ahead and put my other sentiment on here, and I'm going to do, friends like you make this season special, and that's this stamp I'm going to use, and I'm going to do that with a polished pink. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp a few of my dots, my little, I think they're cute, my little polka dots. I think it just adds a little festivity to your card. That's the way I kind of look at it. And then of course I decide I'm going to go ahead and put the same leaves down here, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp off a little bit. I'll move this over so I don't wind up messing up what I just did. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring back my let's see, I'm going to bring back my pine cone. Trying to work and talk at the same time. You know, sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that, and I'm going to do that in the main color. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my second stamping, and again I'm going to stamp it and then stamp off to get some of that, so I get that second generation of ink. Isn't that just cute? All right, so now we've got our base card done. I can go ahead and put this on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and do my glue. I love this Tombow glue, especially when you're making a lot of holiday cards. You sure don't want to go through a lot of your tape, or this glue makes it very economical to go ahead and put a lot of cards together. So like I said, it's very cost effective. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put my label down. Now before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and, almost forgot to do this, I'm going to layer this label with Coastal Cabana. And the way I do that is I cut it in half, and I'm going to go ahead and put this together. I don't have to really lay it down. I'm just going to kind of I want it to peek out. I don't want it to go, you can make it larger if you want, but I wanted it to peek out on both ends. It just gives the illusion of that second layer without having to have a bigger die. This is a way to get that look out of the same size of die. So you would just cut that a second time, cut it in half, and as you put this down, you'll never know that I've actually cut that in half like that. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue on the back side of this, and go ahead and set that down. Make sure I get it the right way, because I'm going to go ahead and put my label, remember my label that I did for my sentiment, and I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue down on that. And I wanted it so it would come off of the card kind of on the edge here, but just in between this. This is kind of how I designed it in my head. So that way, look at that, isn't that cute? Now, you know me, I love my bling. So I decided that I was just going to go ahead and use some of my rhinestones. So I've got my different size of rhinestones here. So I think on this one I'm going to use the medium size ones. And I'm going to go ahead and put these down, and I think I'll just kind of do a few of them. You don't have to do all the small. You could even do a larger one. You can do different sizes. They don't all have to be the same. And I think I'll put one more up here. And I didn't want to keep those plain, of course. I wanted them to kind of match some of the theme of the card. So I took my polished pink blend, the dark one, and I'm going to go ahead and not use the brush end. I'm going to use more of the pen end, and I'm just going to add some color just to that around the edge. You just have to be a little careful. You can do that before you put it on, but once you do this a few times, it's a little easier. Sometimes it saves a little time, and just go ahead and put it on, and then you can color it from there. Now, isn't that cute? And see, we've added a little bling to our card, a little bit of eye candy. I think this makes a great holiday card using these kind of non-traditional colors, but I do love all the pinks and greens together. So again, this is the card I did yesterday. This is the card I'm doing for you guys today. So there you go. There's two great cards that you can do with the same color schemes with just a little bit of different look to them. So remember, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that as I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. And send this off to your friends if they would like to take a look at it also. And remember, I do this every Tuesday. I'm over here on YouTube at Cindy's Cards and More. And I always try to do a quick and easy card for you. So if you'd like to subscribe to my blog, please go over to cindyscardsandmore.com. And please hit that subscribe button, and I will be sending out a blog in the next week or so giving you some great tips and techniques. So I hope everybody has a great holiday. I won't be doing my video next week because I'm actually doing some traveling, going up to New York to see my in-laws, and I'm really looking forward to that because you know we couldn't do anything last year. So I will be skipping next week. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy whatever family gathering you have and all those great fixings, no matter what you're eating. So thank you again, and I will see you the first week in December. Oh my God, can't believe I just said that. December's right around the corner. So have a great day, everyone. Happy crafting. Bye now.